Hi guys, Jamie from Boxing Life and welcome back to another training reaction video. Today's video I'm going to be looking at Canelo and Caleb Plant as they lead up to their big fight in November, which I'm really excited for. And in this video I'll just kind of look at both guys, see how they're both looking. There's some new footage and some also old footage, but it's more just to give you an idea of what both guys are kind of looking like in their training. And at the end of this video I'll give you my thoughts on kind of how they're both looking and my kind of thoughts on the outcome of the fight potentially. On that note, let's get right into it. So let's start. So these are just stair runs from Caleb Plant and lunges as well. These are tough on the legs, I have to admit, if you've ever done these before. Now I'm in the double end bag. He is pretty quick, I have to admit, with his hands. He's got good head movement. Well, he kind of fucked up there, I have to admit. He's wearing bag gloves. The aqua bag. Love using the aqua bag, so cool. He does have a whip in that right hand. Definitely does have a whip. Some head movement. He does throw himself with that right hand, actually, I'd noticed. And you can't underestimate that. And he's even caught a couple of guys with that. I know people go on, it's not the best opposition, but it doesn't matter. He's still knocked guys out with it or knocked them down. And the heavy bag now. Just tapping. Andrew Ward would do that, actually. It's more of a, even Mayweather, you know, it's that tapping with the bag and then you smack it with your right hand. See, with the right hand, he absolutely smashed it. He's got a good right hand. People discredit Caleb Plant for his power, but I think he's got it. Some shadow boxing now. And he likes, for the most part, he likes being on the back foot, doesn't he? He's a pick'em type of fighter. Counter shot, you know? This is obviously, he was training with Andrew Ward, which is interesting. Personally, I find that was good for him going into this fight. In my opinion, Andrew Ward's like a master. He's just tremendous in the ring, and if he can pick up anything, Andrew's the man to go to. But stylistically, they're both very different, but Andrew Ward knows styles, I guess. And like, even in all this shadow boxing and him training, you know, he's always in the back foot Caleb Plant. That's where he's most comfortable. If you watch back all of his fights, for the most part, he's on the back foot. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he comes up against Canelo. See, he's always more defensively minded, I feel. But he's got a good range of, like, you know, his training, I have to admit. Lots of boxing focused drills, which is what you want to see at that level. You know, the boxers using boxing kind of training equipment and drills. That's what makes you become a better fighter. And obviously sparring is a big part of it. This is Canelo now. This is from the No Boxing No Life YouTube page. Took this from. So good with the noodle bars. Shadow boxing's tremendous. I really like watching Canelo shadow box. He's really subtle with that left hand. I know it doesn't really look like much to the average person, but he just moves it so subtly in little different directions that I can like, if you've ever boxed before, you'll know, like, if a guy's constantly twitching that lead hand, it can be very difficult to read when the punch will come. And, you know, watching him do it, you know, especially as a smaller guy for the most part, he's fighting bigger guys, he needs to feint his way into distance. And with the sticks now, with the noodle bars. He's so good at that. Notice he's putting out his hand. Almost acts as like a defensive maneuver, especially when you're up against the ropes. If you're dodging punches and then he's sticking out your lead hand, at least it causes a little bit of distance. We shoulder roll there as well. He's a master defensively, Canelo, as well. You cannot deny that. He's just so good. And when you see drills like this, you understand why he's so good. And then it comes to his kind of offensive stuff and the power. Look at that. Notice they're both using the aqua bag, but when you compare the two, Canelo looks a lot more powerful. That's cool. Right hand, yeah. This just shows like his hand speed and reflexes are. The Cobra bag's great for that. Can make you a bit upright at times, but it's a really good alternative, I feel. And that was from Little Giant Boxing. Go check them out. Good channel for all the Canelo training footage. I just like the mix of Canelo's training, if I'm being honest. Power, defensive drills, reflexes, mitt drills, the Cobra bag, shadow boxing. Yeah, and as much as I can imagine it getting repetitive, you're able to still mix up enough by doing all these different types of drills. And you have to love boxing to be doing that every day. This is a strength and conditioning circuit, which is interesting.
Easy for you. Easy for you.
Plank. Who likes planks? No one likes planks. Oh dear. Especially when you're doing other stuff, he's just lifted all that and he's having to do a plank. Hopefully there's no juice in there. You know what I'm talking about. I'm just doing some skipping. This is probably what's helping him, like, obviously keeping up his fitness levels and just fundamental fitness, isn't it? The battle ropes. This is great for like power, for generating power. Once again, it's the same thing. It's like, it's all things to help generate that power. And that's what Canelo's working on so much all the time. Landmine press. This is an exercise I love. It does help your power, I feel. It's just a different way to build it up and your strength. It's a really good strength and condition. I think if you're doing any type of strength and conditioning exercise, make sure it's kind of boxing related. just working on his abs.
Tiempo, Saúl. Llévelo sacando.
So guys, that wraps up my thoughts on both guys. Personally, just going off by looking at them both training, you have to give it to Canelo in terms of him just looking like a tank, and yeah, he just looks so much stronger and faster and just slicker than Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant still looks very good. This is the thing. It's not like Caleb Plant looks horrendous or anything. He looks very good, but there's just some occasions you just feel like, and you don't know because it's all training footage, how tired he is or how late in the session these clips are recorded. But you know, it's just like little things, you know, like, and that's the interesting thing about Caleb Plant. You know, apparently it's his left hand is his stronger hand naturally, and for some reason his right hand actually looks the stronger, just from hitting like the aqua bag and stuff. But yeah, like I said, he's comfortable going the back foot. You kind of see that in his shadow boxing. He's always shimming kind of backwards, and that's how he's most comfortable. And I think that's the kind of the difference between him and Canelo. Canelo can do it both ways, as you saw like in those noodle bars. You know, he's working on, you know, for that scenario where he has to go in the back foot as well, because you never know, like, let's say in the fight Caleb Plant out of nowhere clips Canelo and he's hurt, he's buzzed, and he's having to go in the back foot. But this is where those defensive drills really help out, where he can box in the back foot as well and not just on the front foot now. And yeah, it's fascinating to see, like, Canelo. He's just, you understand why he's so good, you know, when you kind of look at the training, the repetition of doing these drills over and over again. You got to give him his due. It's a real hard one to see past him getting nothing other than a win in November against Plant. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. I hope Plant can give him a really solid good fight. I really do. Like I said, Canelo likes to now really be in the front foot, put the pressure on, but that is what Caleb Plant likes. He likes being in the back foot. You know, that's where he's most comfortable. So it'll just be interesting to see Canelo kind of trying to basically hunt him down, take him out basically with a body shot or whatnot. Caleb Plant, for me, he gets clipped far too often, you know, even against lesser opponents. If you look back, he's very not clumsy, but just careless at times. He leaves himself open too much. I think this is the problem. I think it just comes to levels. Canelo's been fighting consistently for the last 2 years, really, you know, fight after fight. Caleb Plant's been fairly inactive since his win against Ugezige, and yeah, he's just not, it's really hard to see past. Even just looking at that training footage again, Canelo looks pretty solid, I have to admit. But yeah, we'll find out in November. I'll probably, you know, do a prediction video, no doubt, and break them down a bit more. Yeah, you know, I'd like to see a close fight. I'd like to see Canelo get challenged a bit more. It's been a bit too easy for him, I think, in his last few fights. But yeah, it'll be fascinating to see, you know, how they both kind of come out and approach it. So yeah, guys, that wraps up my video. If you enjoyed this, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to find out more about Caleb Plant, make sure to check out my Caleb Plant boxing style analysis video. That can give you a bit more insight in terms of his style and what he kind of likes to do. And yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. You know, if you're part of Team Caleb, let me know how you think he's going to beat Canelo. I'm really fascinated to know your thoughts. As always, thanks so much for watching. Appreciate all the support. The channel's been growing so well recently, and just really grateful for all the support. It's amazing. So yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next one, and thanks for watching.